Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's class. We're beginning with the beginners class, the three beginners class. So, Akwaba to you all. As you can see from the image depicts you being welcome. Akwaba means welcome. So, welcome to my class, and let's join in. Let's learn some tree and let's progress. So, today's class is going to look at the Akan language and culture. Now, before you know something about the language, you have to first know about the people. So we first have to know who are the Akan people, where can they be found, how do you identify them, what is their culture. Now, the Akan people. So Akan is a language with about 12 mutually intelligible dialects. We have the Kiapem, Ekwamu, Achem, Asante, Dentre, Fante, Kweu, Trifo, Waso, etc. And we have others in the in the Ivory Coast region. So, and where can we find these people, the Akans? Where can we find them? So we can find them looking at our map here. We can find the Akan people in predominantly living in this part of Ghana. So that is the southwestern part of Ghana, yes, and some parts of Ivory Coast. So we can see that image as well. Now, Akan is, as I said, is mutually intelligible, meaning that where one speaks a dialect of Akan, the other is supposed to be able to understand. The only difference is going to be some tonal and lexical variations. When I say tonal, it means that there are changes in how some people pronounce certain words, but then you all understand what it means. And then the lexical variation means that maybe a certain word can be said in a different way by another dialect, but we all understand what it means. So we are going to look at Shi, that is a dialect of Akan. So let's look at Akan culture. So culture is the way of life of a person. So before you learn the language, before you get into learning the structure and all that, you have to know the culture as well. So the culture of the people cover their lifestyle, their food, their festivals, their puberty rites, their marriages, and chieftaincy, etc. You will really enjoy this class because we're looking at all of that. Now we can see an image of a lady or a young girl dancing, and this is she's dancing at a festival. So the culture of the people cover their festival, and it also covers their food. So we can see an image of a typical Chi or Akan food, which is called fufu. Yes. So this is a local dish which is enjoyed by many. And we have wache as well. Now, the Akan people also have a unique way of naming their people. You should join the class to know more about this. So we have a unique way of naming our people. We have a unique way of getting our chiefs. So our chieftaincy system is unique. So we are the Akan ethnic group. They have chiefs that are ruling them. So you should know about our chiefs as well and how they are also selected. We learn all that in the class. And also our unique marriage ceremonies. This is one that caused many to come and watch and so our unique marriage ceremonies. Now so now before we go into the language itself, we've learned about their culture, and also we've also looked at where they can be found. Now let's go to the language itself. Now Akan sounds, we have the vowels and the consonants, which makes the sound system of the language. Now Akan has 7 vowels, and to be able to help you understand these vowels, I'm going to, because I know my audience are English speakers, so to be able to help you understand these vowels, I'm going to help you with English words supporting them, so that it can help you pronounce them correctly. So the first sound or the first vowel we have is a, a. So we see that a in the as word, a, a. The second is a in the word day. So the a in day is what we see in this sound, a, a, a. So we see that in day, the a in a, so a, good. Now we have the e sound, and we have that same sound in the word get. So get. Very good. So we have a, and e. And let's continue. We have the e sound, which can be found in the word eel, eel, eel. Yes, the e sound is found in the word eel. Now the o sound is found in the word oh, oh. So you see how I pronounce the o? You have to round your lips. Yeah, so oh, oh. So the o sound is o, o. Yeah, so the o in o. Good. And we have the o sound, o sound. And we can find this in the word awesome, awesome. So the o sound in awesome. Now we have the u sound in the word two. So oo, two, oo. You have to also round your lips. Yes. So we've looked at the vowel system in the language. So we have the ah. We see the English counterpart ah. We have the a. We see it in the word day. So a, day, a, good. We have the e in the word get. So get, good. Then we have the e in the word eel. Excellent. And we have the o in awesome, u in two. Good. Now, the vowels we just saw, they also exist in words. Yes. So we will use these vowels we'll use them when we are reading, when we are speaking. Yes. So we find them in our words as well. So we have, for example, the word, so the ah sound we just saw, we see it in the word da, da. So we are learning vocabularies as well. Da, which means to sleep. Da, sleep. And we saw the a sound, which is in the English word day, a. We see this word in the Akan word de, de. Can we say it together? De, de. So this is de, 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 de. Very good. De, de, which means noise, which means noise. So we've looked at ah, we've looked at a, we've looked at the verb da, and we've looked at de, which is noise. Very good. Now let's continue. So we have another vowel we saw in in the word get, the English word get, good. So we see that sound in the word fe, fe. Yes, can we say it together? Fe, fe, which means beautiful, beautiful. Yes, so we have fe, which means beautiful. Now we have the e. We saw that in the English word eel, eel. So e in the Akan word di, which means to eat. Then we have the o sound in, we saw o in the previous slide, in the oh, like oh, yes. So that sound, that's what I'm talking about, that sound. We see it in the word ko, 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 which means porridge. Now, the o sound, which we saw in the word awesome, awesome. We see it in the word do, which means to love. And the u sound to to fly, to fly. So we've learned about the basic vowel sounds in the language. So we have da, the a in da, the e in de, the e in fe, the I in di, the o in coco, the o in do, the u in tu. Very good. So if you were following by now, you should be able to know all the vowels in the language. Excellent. So now let's progress. Let's now go to the consonants in the language. So there are two main types of consonants in the language. We have the monographs, or the one-lettered sound, the one-lettered consonant, one-lettered. The stress is on what? One-lettered. And we have digraphs, which means di means two. So we have two-lettered sounds. So let's look at the monographs, or the one-letter sounds, which we also have in English. Yes, English has one-letter sounds, just like in Akan. So basically, we will not learn anything so far-fetched from English words. Yes, so that's what I'm talking about. So we have the b in boy, the English word boy. We see that in the Akan word aba, which means seed. And we have the d in dog, in the word di, which means to eat. We've already looked at that word. If we've come to, let's come to the in the English word fat, which means, no, fat means big. Yes. So, and we have that kind of example as fa, which means to take. Now we come to the girl sound in the word girl. Yeah, girl. The English word girl. We see this in gu, 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 which means to pour. Now the next one is the sound in heart, heart, the English word heart. And we see the Akan example as ha, which is here. Now the next sound is k, the k sound in keep, keep. So ko, ko, good. And the sound in lot, the English word lot, in lorry, lorry. Yeah, so actually it looks like the English word lorry, right? Yeah, it's borrowed. It's a borrowed word. It's a borrowed word. We'll look at all the borrowed words in tree as well. So if you're interested, come join my class. Good. Now let's continue with the monographs. So with that we have the man, ma, in nose, num, per. In pen, the p sound in pen, we have that in Akan as well. So we have the pe, which means to love or to love, like. The in rat, we have that same sound as bra, bra. Yeah, come. The sound in sit, so we have sum, sum. Yeah, sum. Then we have the t in tip. So the Lakan word is to, to. Then we have the v in want, want. You see that in Lakan example, woo, woo. And then je, you in je, je. Very good. So we've come to the end of the monographs. So let's come to digraphs. As I told you earlier, we have two types of consonants in the language. We have the monographs and we have the digraphs. So we just looked at the monographs. Now let's come to the digraphs. So this is not common to English speakers like you. So I've tried my possible best to get English sounds that are similar to these Akan consonants to help you in your pronunciation. So now let's go to the Akan. So we see the J. The DW is J. J. Can we say it together? J. J. Good. So we have that in jewel, jewel. So jewel, jewel. So the Jew in the jewel, the English word jewel, yeah. And we see that in a can example, jene, jene, jene. Yeah, I know it will take time for you to be able to grasp all these consonants, but yes, you will make it. Good. And you have the j, in the English word judge, so the j in judge, yeah. So that is the combination of the J and the Y in Akan. So we see that in Akan word jai, jai, which means stop, stop, yeah. And we have the shoo, 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 shoo. So there's a combination of the sh sound and the v sound or u sound. So it's like you're combining a sh and a w sound together to get a sh, sh. Don't worry, we'll get there. So in the word show, see the show and w, show. Yeah, in the English word show. And we see the Akan example as she, she, she. Good. So I know some English speakers try to pronounce it as shwe, shwe, shwe. Yeah, but it is shwe, shwe. With time and practice, we'll be able to get all these sounds. And let's come to the next sound, the ship, the sh. In the HY sound, sh. So we see that sound, the sh sound in Akan. And we see that in she, to wear. And then the kwa sound, as in kwesi, kwesi. You see that in kwabena, the name kwabena. So an interesting thing is that we'll be learning about the names in Akan. So kwabena is one of the names you've already learned. So you can keep that. So when during a class, you can talk about kwabena. Good. And it comes to the ch sound, and we have that in the KY combination, and we see that in eche. Eche means heart, eche. And we come to the sound, and the combination is the and the v. So the one in the English word one, one. So we see that in the Akan word mwa, mwansina, 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 in one, mwansina. Now, let me take you off English and let's do a little bit of Spanish. Now we see the sound here. With those who speak Spanish, this sound is very similar to the Spanish sound in niña, that one, niña, sound. So we see that in ñanza, ñanza, which means sense, ñanza, sense. Then we come to the next one, which is the TW combination. And we see that in the language we are learning, chi, the chi. So as in chew, ch. So chew and wu, so ch, ch, chew. So we see that in chi, chi, chi. Good. So in this class, we've been able to look at the Akan people, who they are, where they come from, who they are, where they can be found, how to identify them, and what their culture is. So we've looked at their location, we've looked at their culture, their unique cultures. We've looked at that, and we've also looked at the vowels and the consonants in the language. So this marks the end of the beginner sample class. And so if for more of these, join my class and you will have a lot to take home. Now let's go to the intermediate class. Now with the intermediate class, we'll be looking at tenses. Tenses. So the link for for joining Resplendence Language Act will be shared shortly. So whilst we are going to the intermediate class, you can register, start registering. Now let's come to the tenses. Now the tenses, we have the verbs. Yes, the verbs. Now at the intermediate class, we should be conversant with these verbs. We should be conversant with the word di, which means to eat. We should be conversant with ko, which means to go, ba, which means to come. But someone will ask, what's the difference between ba and bra? Bra is used for imperative command. So bra is used imperatively, whilst ba is used as the verb. And so the verb, the infinitive verb, yes. Now we have da to sleep, ma to give, j to receive or take. So at the intermediate level, we have to be conversant with some basic, verbs, and these are some basic verbs we'll be using in helping us understand the tenses. Now we'll be looking at the present or the habitual tense. Now in 3, there is no overt affix on the verb. What do I mean by overt affix? What do I mean by that? I mean that there is nothing to show that, like, there's no marker. There's nothing to show that, okay, when you see this, it is the present form. Oh, yeah, so there's nothing like that. It's very simple. So as we saw in the infinity, that is how it is in the present. It's just simple. The only difference is that you always have to note that in the present tense, the verbs have high tones. Now, someone asks, what do you mean by the verbs that have high tones? Now, Akan is a tonal language. Tonal language. So we mark tones. We have low tones and we have high tones. So if we take a verb like, let's just choose one verb. So we'll use da. We know that means to sleep, right? Da, to sleep. That's the infinitive, to sleep. Now we want to use this in the present form. How do we go about it? As I said earlier, remember that Akan has no overt affix. There's nothing to add to it to show that this is a present tense or this is a past tense. No. Unlike English, we have goes, he goes. So you have to add es to the verb to go, at least to mark that this is the third person. Your Akan doesn't do that. It's very easy. So let's look at this example. So the first example is me, da, me, da, me, da. Me da here is I sleep. I sleep. So we have the verb da, as we saw earlier, to sleep. Now we're going to use it to form our sentence. So me means I. Me means I. We'll be learning pronouns very soon. Me means I. So if I want to say I sleep, so simple. Just add the pronoun me and add the verb da and add it to it and get me da, which means I sleep. So simple. Now let's go to the next one. Yao da. Now Yao is also a name in Akan. So let's use which foreign name do I even know? Okay, let's use Clarissa. Clarissa da. You can also put your name there. Rebecca da. Veronica da. Limbo da. You can just put anybody's name there and add the infinity da, which in this sense is the present tense. So even though it is just the same as the infinity or the verb we saw here, the infinitive verb, you can just use that in the so you can just use that in the sentence. So we don't need to say that, we don't need to add anything to show that this is third person or first person. No, just use the raw form of the verb. Now let's take another verb, ko, which means to go. Now we have Shayla, ko, Shayla, ko. Shayla is someone's name. So ko here is the verb to go. So you just add the person's name and ko. Then you get the present tense. So let me use myself. Rebecca ko. Rebecca ko, meaning Rebecca goes. That's simple. Now the next one is, let's take ma. We saw ma here as to give. So Veronica ma pan. So it means that Veronica gives a lot. So it means she is very generous. So Veronica ma pan. Veronica gives a lot. So ma means to give. Pa means a lot. Yes, in this context, pa means a lot, something that's, so Veronica ma pa, very generous. So let's come to the next one. Let's take another verb, ba, which means to come. Daniel ba ha. Daniel comes here. So ha means here. So we have Daniel ba ha. Is that not simple? Good. So we've looked at how the present tense is formed. How the present tense is formed. We've looked at the verbs, some examples of verbs in the language, and we've also looked at how to use them in sentences. How to use them in sentences. Now, let's go to the last thing that we'll be looking at in the tenses, the progressive tense. Now, in English, we know the progressive tense as the one you have to add ing, the ing of verbs. So we have eating, going, sleeping, giving, and the rest. All the in. Those are progressive tenses. Now in Akan, there are two ways of expressing the progressive. By using the prefix re. So unlike the present tense where you don't have to mark anything, just use the raw form of the verb in a sentence and boom, it means the present tense. Here, let's note this. The progressive, you have to add re to it. Or by prolonging the last syllable or the sound or the vowel. I will explain that very shortly. Now let's take, so in the beginning, we looked at some examples of verbs. So now let's take da, to sleep. And let's use that in the progressive tense. Now we have, as I said, we have the re, the prefix re, and we have the verb da. Okay, so as I told you earlier, we have me, which means I, and then the re, which is the progressive, and the da, which means to sleep. So let's add that together. We have me, re, da. I am sleeping. And we have yao, re, da. Yao is sleeping. Sheila, re, ko. Sheila is going. Then we have Kofi, re, di. Kofi is eating. So that is one form of one way of saying that. Now the next one is, as I said, by prolonging the last syllable or sound of vowel. Prolonging it is very easy. Lots of people prefer that one. So instead of I using re, I will just avoid that and use prolong the last word. So if there's no re, I'm just going to have me and da. So me da, me da. Then the yao too, I'll prolong the last sound. Yao da, yao da. Then shila too, I'll prolong the last sound, which is the a. Shila ko, which is shila is going. Then kofi, kofi di, kofi di. So simple. So this brings us to the end of lesson 1. To enjoy more of this, join me in my class. The link will be shared down. The link will be shared down. Just, join the tree class. Just join the tree class. Join the tree class. So thank you for joining today's class. And I hope to see you in my subsequent class. for both beginners class and intermediate class. Thank you and see you next time. Bye.